Hey Pac-12 fans, and welcome to West Coast Breakdowns, where today I'm going to look at a play from UCLA's epic comeback win over Texas A&M. There were a lot of crazy, memorable plays in this game, including a near interception that went for a touchdown, and of course the fake spike that sealed the deal. But today I'm going to look at a play that probably went under a lot of people's radars. This is a 3rd and 7 play from late in the third quarter. On the two drives before this, UCLA had gone 3 and out and fumbled, and if they wouldn't have picked up the first down here, then there's no chance that they would have completed the comeback. Instead, they go on to score a touchdown on this drive and on every single drive after this, and so this is one of those plays that probably seemed insignificant at the time, but that turned out to be one of the most important plays of the game. Now, there are a couple of interesting aspects to this play, and I'm actually going to start with Texas A&M's pressure package. A&M's playing a 3-man line here, and so this means that their nose tackle is going to be directly across from the center, and their defensive ends are going to be directly across from UCLA's offensive tackles. UCLA seems to be playing a man pass protection, and so that means that the offensive tackles are going to be responsible for the defensive ends lined up directly across from them. Now, A&M's going to complicate things a little bit by bringing additional edge rushers outside of those defensive ends, and we can follow through the consequences that this has for protection. If the offensive tackles are responsible for the defensive ends, and if an additional rusher comes outside of them, they're not going to be able to slide out to block that extra rusher. This isn't going to be a problem for UCLA on the right side of the formation because over there they've got the running back to be an extra blocker, and so he's just going to slide out and take on the extra edge rusher. But on the left side of the formation, UCLA doesn't have any extra blocker, and so that guy's coming unblocked. This is basically going to turn this into a hot throw where Rosen sees the unblocked edge rusher and throws into the space that he just vacated. A second component of this play is the motion by UCLA. Before Darren Andrews goes in motion, it looks like Texas A&M's playing basically 3-on-3 over the receivers at the bottom of the screen. But once Andrews goes in motion, that's the point where this defender, who's lined up over the number 3 receiver inside, slides inside and becomes a part of the pass rush, leaving these two defenders to cover the inside receivers with an inside-outside bracket. Now, you'll often hear people talk about using motion to diagnose coverage, to tell, for example, if it's a man or a zone coverage. But if my interpretation's correct, then UCLA's motion is causing A&M to check from one defensive call into another one, and it's this second call that clears out the coverage void that UCLA needs to complete this pass. All that's left now is to see how UCLA exploited this coverage. Now, earlier I mentioned that A&M's playing with an inside-outside bracket on these two inside receivers. That means that this inside defender is going to sit and wait for the first route to come inside, and this outside defender is going to sit and wait for the first route to come outside. So the way that UCLA is going to take advantage of this is they're going to have their first receiver come through on a crossing route. That's going to hold this inside defender in the middle of the field. Then they're going to have this second receiver weave from the inside to the outside. That's going to grab the attention of this outside defender and hold him outside of the hash, creating a nice lane in between the two bracket defenders. And from there, all that has to happen is this receiver has to cut inside into all that space, Rosen has to hit him with good timing and anticipation, and UCLA is on their way to one of the greatest comebacks in college football history.